Welcome back, dudes. Hope everybody is doing well. I know I say this fairly often, but if ever there was a day where we're probably going to die, it's going to be this one. Some of you may remember the Embraer, which I really like, but it is an underpowered airplane and it doesn't particularly climb very high. So we're going to do a 200-mile ocean crossing from here in Sangster, Jamaica to Grand Cayman Island. It is 201 nautical miles exactly. And there is an airway that we can use, low airway, so if we're doing an IFR flight, we can fly at an even 1,000 altitude. And we got one waypoint. I'll show you what we got for fuel and payload. 2,000 pounds payload and 1,600 pounds of fuel, so about 2.2 hours, or 2 hours and 20 minutes of flight time, which should be more than enough to get us there. We should cruise at over 200 knots. It's not exactly a slow airplane, but it just doesn't perform very well. Feels really heavy, which I like, and it sounds really good, but don't expect to be getting up into the flight levels or anything like that. Haven't done anything. We're going to get in here, and I think we can just click. Should be external power. I'll turn that one on. Get nav lights, cabin passenger lights, panel lights. That won't work. I'm going to put one waypoint on here. There's an airway that goes directly between here and Grand Cayman, and I'm going to put one waypoint that's on that that airway, which should be midway for us. So let's go delete flight plan, and that is going to be Oteco. Then Owen Roberts International in Grand Cayman is Mike Whiskey Charlie Romeo. Set our CDI to GPS, so it's going to be 290 degrees. I'm going to just dismiss the desired track for this because that's at the airport we're at now. So 290, actually, I think this automatically syncs up. So once we get on the runway, I'll go direct to, and that'll keep us on the airway. Switch this over to GPS, get about 50 nautical mile range, and down here we can go to flight plan, menu, crossfill, and we'll just leave that on there. We'll give you your distance to waypoint and the cumulative distance total down there. Alright, ATIS.
Mike, Kilo, Juliet, Sierra, airport information, Delta, 1500, Zulu, weather, wind, 057, at 10, visibility, 10,000, sky condition, few clouds at 2,400, temperature, 28, dew point, 21, altimeter, 3006, advise on initial contact that you have information, Delta.
Information Delta. We got Sangster ground.
Mike,
Grand Encore 3539 with you on that.
Tower 120.8.
Course 3539, ground taxi, Delta Echo, hold short Sierra.
Delta Echo short Sierra, Encore 3539.
Throw in a random transponder code over here, don't care. .3734, that works. Our doors closed up outside. We'll do a GPU start. Oops.
Jazz 7977, taxi Alpha Kilo, contact Japan 12227. Alpha Kilo, we contact.
I don't think there's any master avionics button. I'll definitely turn those off before we start the engine. Double check the prop conditions, full forward, fuels are at idle cutoff. Fuel pumps on auto and the aux pumps in the on position.
Golf at Alpha Mike for the 3-bay apron.
Charlie Fox.
Park and brake is
Fox from Golf, ground. Alpha,
set.
Tango, cross runway 33 right, hold short Echo.
Alpha Tango, cross 33 right to Echo Fox Yankee Golf.
Start with engine number 2.
Fox Yankee Golf, I see it is, hold short Echo.
Hold short Echo Fox Yankee Golf.
Runway 1799, Charlie 4. Route 1799, ground taxi Delta Alpha Alpha Lima, cross runway 33 right.
Delta Alpha Alpha Lima, cross 33 right, runway 1799.
Foxtrot Yankee Golf, give way to a Q400 from your left, then taxi Echo Echo Alpha.
Give way to Q400, then Echo Echo Alpha, Fox Yankee Golf.
Concord 3539, Embraer waits, contact ground 12165, good night.
35396, 65, good night.
Kill the aux pumps. Those are both started, so let's get the inverters on, generators on, and quick reset. Seatbelts, static and pitot heat. Passenger heat we don't need. Get you on in-flight ignition in a second, switch over to battery.
Rocket Maple 7604, correction 05, lunch level 4.
Maple 7605, ground taxi Delta Delta Romeo, cross runway 33 right.
Delta Delta Romeo, cross 33 right, Maple 7605.
Fox Yankee Golf, contact April 12207.
12207, Fox Yankee Golf, have a good night.
Yep.
Interesting. Altimeter was 3006.
$17.99, contact April 12207.
2207, Prairie 1799, good night. Satellite speedbird 9 Lima, vacating to Charlie 4.
Speedbird 9 Lima Heavy, ground taxi Delta Echo, hold short Sierra.
Delta Echo, hold short Sierra, speedbird 9 Lima.
Alright, winds are 057 at 10, so we're going to take off runway 9 and then I'll make a left turn to intercept our course to Grand Cayman. I'm going to go ahead and start taxiing. I think we're good to go. We'll flight control test.
Maple 7605, contact airplane 12207.
2207, Maple 7605. Underground, good. The nearest 1930 Heavy, start, or coming up on Alpha Mike.
Orange 1930 Heavy, ground runway 23 to Kilo, altimeter 2985, taxi Alpha, hold short Alpha Kilo.
Alpha short up, Kilo, Rouge 1930. Ground Rouge 1537, we're on Delta 4.
1537, ground taxi Delta, cross runway 33 right, Alpha, hold short Tango.
Delta cross 338, Alpha short.
Zebra 9 Lima, contact ground 12165.
4165, Smith 9 Lima, good day.
AVOL, the engines are on, so I need to turn the... Man, screw that up. Failures, set mean time 350, done, apply. The last time that I flew this was after I had done a failure Friday and I forgot to turn the failures back off and had an engine failure. And then VMC rolled and the wing fell off. So, it's possible. I think our minimum control speed is about 85 knots.
5165, Rouge 1930, good day.
The problem is that the plane is so underpowered that if you lose one engine, it's going to be kind of hard to maintain that speed. And we're not going to be able to climb very high because it's not very powerful. It's pretty heavy. So we don't have a lot of altitude to trade for airspeed. Could be an interesting flight.
Air Canada 429 on Charlie 4.
Takeoff 429, ground taxi Delta, Alpha Lima, cross runway 33 right.
Okay, Delta, Alpha Lima, cross 33 right for Canada 429, and we're showing gate 143 Alpha. Yep.
Here, parking brake is on. Let's go external lights. We need anti-collision, beacon, landing light, taxis can come off, we're good. Transponder is on, altitude is reporting. And flaps are set, takeoff trim is set. Fuel condition.
Air Canada 721, ground taxi Delta, cross runway 33 right, Alpha, hold short Tango.
Tower and 1208 and tower and approach the same frequency. We're on tower frequency. Let's go.
Charlie, Denmark heading 180 to intercept flight ILS 15 left approach.
180 to intercept the ILS 15 left, Delta.
For Charlie, speed 170 knots now into Wood Hill, contact tower, the marker 118.7.
170, the markers, engine tower, 1870, Delta Charlie, Charlie.
Auto feathers on. Got plenty of torque, so I'm basically just watching the ITT. Temperatures and pressures are good. airspeed's working.
Delta Charlie, Charlie, demo setting 180 to intercept flight ILS 15 left approach.
180 to intercept the ILS at 15 left. Delta.
Tap the brakes.
Delta Charlie, Charlie, speed 170 knots now into Wood Hill, contact tower, the marker 118.
We're out of usable runway there. Go ahead and bring the gear up. Up and indicating.
The 193 descend 4,000.
Gonna bring the flaps up.
4,000 restricted. Let's go.
And we'll start our turn to intercept course.
The 193 descend 4,000 unrestricted. 4,000 restricted. Let's go. 190. WestJet 115, knots, total speed 160 knots, 4 left, contact tower now, 119 to 455. 1955, total 160 miles, WestJet 115. WestJet 115, knots, total speed 160 knots, 4 left, contact tower now, 119 to 455. 1955, total 160 miles, WestJet
So I'm planning on 10,000. We'll see if we can make it there. I mean, it's fairly heavy. We should be able to do it, but it's going to take us a minute. You can see right now, even at this airspeed, about 140 knots, nearly full climb power, we're only getting about 1,000 feet per minute.
Left 290, clear visual, right off.
Not the best. We do have a yaw damper down here. Turn autopilot on. Yaw damper, yes. And the deflection on the HSI, they're coming down. Make a little right turn and we'll be on course. So right now the turn coordinator is indicating a turn to the left.
Left 290, clear visual.
Alright, let's get autopilot on here. There. Go nav. And we got pitch commands here on the side, so we're going to try to keep the airspeed probably about 100, actually 120 would be good.
Number 3157, speed 160 knots or less, contact for tower 119,
160 less over to 1955 on course 315, 7 to 1.
Go ahead and bring our props back a little bit too. We're just now passing 3,000 feet. That is nuts. The good thing about this plane is that it feels like there's, a lag kind of input when you roll and stuff, and it feels like it has weight, unlike a lot of airplanes and X-plane. And it sounds really good, but man, it just does not perform well at all. Curious how that actually compares to the real airplane. I mean, upgrade these engines, buddy. Kill our landing light.
40 vectors, final descent to 3,000.
The 3,000 has 2536.
mean, we are right at the caution range for the ITT, and the power is almost all the way forward, and this is about as good as we can do.
Vector's final descent to 3,000. The 3,000 has 2536.
Ground speed 140 knots.
Bravo 2536, trim up heading 2. Bravo 2536, trim up heading 290, clear visual both runway 26 right. 290, clear visual 26 right, approach horizon 2536. Bravo 2536, speed 160 knots or less, knots, cutter tower 11955.
I actually have to bring the nose down a little bit. Barely can maintain this.
Bravo 2536, speed 160 knots or less, knots, cutter tower 11955. 11955, 160 left, 2536.
Let's do this. We can track, in case we lose the GPS or something, we do have VOR and Grand Cayman 115.6.
That's 191, speed 160 knots or less, contact tower 11955. Yeah, 160 knots or less, tower 1955.
It might be a little while before we pick that up. And see if the DME works. Get our airspeed. 7,000 feet. This thing climbs like a freaking Cherokee.
That's 191, speed 160 knots or less, contact tower 11955. Yeah, 160 knots or less, tower 1955, yes, 191. Envoy 3957, turn right heading 150, vectors to Wickham. Alright, 150 heading, return number 3957.
Actually, I'm gonna close this. I don't know how the air conditioning works in this, but if it uses any sort of pack system, I don't want it taking engine power. Not gonna need it anyway. It's not cold, and we're not gonna be above an altitude where you would require oxygen. 8,000, 2 to go.
607, climb 7,000. I maintain 7,000, yeah, 607.
If we get to 10 and it's still climbing decently and we're above 120 knots indicated airspeed, I'll probably try to keep climbing. Maybe go for 12, which would set a personal record for the highest altitude that I've been in this airplane.
Juliet, November Sierra, under 15,000, 250 knots or less. 15,000, 250 or less, Juliet, November Sierra.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're gonna go for 10.
Juliet, November Sierra, climb to 15,250 knots. Delta 2526, contact center.
1,000 to go. Turn our nav lights off. Don't need those. So we're barely climbing now. I don't think there's any way I could get up to 12,000 feet anyway. 200 feet per minute. Come on, baby. Get on up there, boy.
Jazz 7962, climb 10,000. 10,000 for Jazz 792. Jazz 7962.
300 to go. We'll be there. We'll be there in a minute and a half.
10,000 for Jazz 792. Envoy 3957, higher for you momentarily. Clear direct, Rickham on course. Check Rickham on course, Envoy 3957. Envoy 3957, higher for you momentarily. Clear direct, Rickham on course. Check Rickham on course, Envoy 3957.
Get ready to capture this. Should be fairly easy at this vertical speed. 10,000 feet. Altitude capture. And hopefully the
November Sierra, contact
airspeed will start picking up.
13247. 13247.
Gonna bring the props back to about 90%. And ground speed and airspeed are climbing. Slow down, buddy.
Juliet, November Sierra, contact center with your speed restriction, 13247. 13247.
See if the ELT works. Well, you can click it. There's no siren.
Envoy 3957, climb, flight level 230. 230, Envoy 3957.
Bring the power back a little bit. Turn the auto feather off. Prop sync come on. Here we go. Not too bad. 20 minutes to the halfway point. It looks like the ground speed's kind of stabilized about 187 knots. So I think the last time that I used this for a failure Friday, I had the landing gear failure. The nose gear wouldn't come down and lock, so you have to go to the panel. Flip this guy open, insert this pump down here. I couldn't get it to work, so I had to do a landing gear up landing.
April 7652.
Cross that bridge when you get to it.
Climb 7,000. 7652.
It's like the wings in relation to the size of the fuselage are not very big. Probably has a shit glide ratio too. Hopefully we're not going to find out, because we're not going to go very far from 10,000 feet.
April 765, 2,305,000. April 7652, climb 7,000.
Look at what the weather is doing in Grand Cayman. Winds variable at 7.
7962.
Can't remember the runway directions. Let me see if I can find it. The bad thing about doing international flights is mostly I use SkyVector. I don't think... I'm not sure if I have any of those charts on 4Flight either. Let's see, MWCR airport diagram.
7962, climb 1,000, 11,000.
Runway 8 and 26. Winds were favoring 7 where we left, so I would guess we'll probably get runway 8 there as well.
Right, so that's looking out on course. April 7652. April 76.
We can turn off the seatbelt sign back there. This would be, it feels like a bus, like a school bus back here. The seats remind me of.
Jazz 7. Jazz 7962, contact center 124.92. 2419 for Jazz 7962, everything. April 7652, climb down to flight level 230. Climb to level 230, 7652. April 7652, climb down to flight level 230. Climb to level 230, 7652. Today, George 7398, 3,000, Georgian 7398, departure, you're identified, climb 7,000. 7,000, George 7398.
It looks weird. The artificial horizon looks pretty low. It doesn't look like the nose is up that high. But if there was some sort of suction failure, then it would probably start listing to one side.
Contact center 133.3. 333, good afternoon. Yeah.
Is there even a suction gauge on this thing? Didn't even turn the air conditioning on. Cabin temperature about 18 degrees. That'll work. What is this?
Envoy 39.
Pedal adjustment.
Contact center 133.3. 333, good afternoon. Yeah. April 7652, turn right heading 210. Right, heading 210, 7652. Naval 7652, disregard my last, continue direct to recommend flight level 230. Direct recommend 75.
So 38 miles to our halfway point, 12 minutes. Still haven't picked up the VOR at, where are we going? Grand Cayman?
Naval 7652, turn right heading 210.
Let's have a look at this stuff down here. Maneuvering speed, 196 knots. I can't even imagine going that fast in this airplane.
Continue direct to recommend flight level 230.
Flight East, welcome, dude. Thank you. Speed for landing gear operation, 146 knots. So basically where our flap range is. And full flaps maximum extended at 146.2. That's interesting. The Banderiante. It's I think an underrated airplane for X-plane. It's hard to fly, but I don't really see many people using it. I think it's pretty awesome. I did manage to convince one of my friends to buy it, and I think they hated it. Sorry, Kevin. Brasilia. Normally I fly like a TAM livery, and I had somebody change the tail number to an American registration, but I know TAM's Brazilian, and Embraer is Brazilian as well, so thank you. So we're doing, like on Fridays I'll do these streams where I turn the failures on and then have to complete some sort of 200-mile trip to make sure that can get there in one piece without dying. And we're in the middle of the ocean right now. So far so good. There might be an issue with the turn coordinator, but I don't really need that. Flock of birds into 172. What happened? Did you lose your prop? Anything? That's one of the cool features about X-Plane I don't think a lot of people know about. Let me see if I can find one on the map. Like, these little icons mean there's bird activity in that area. And if you see one that has, it looks like antlers, that means there's wildlife, and there'll be deer running around on the ground, which is pretty cool. I have yet to have a bird strike, though. I've seen deer on the ground, but never been an issue with the airplane. Sangster radar. Human approach 1202.
Maintain 5,000.
Maintain 5,000 in the 4,000.
Engine fire, yeah. So I guess if the engine went into your air intake, that could have caused an engine fire. I've seen so many birds. I always kind of wondered what would happen if you hit one in real life. Because, I mean, most of them are fairly small. You don't see giant ones flying around usually.
Air Canada 410, I'll turn you on course shortly on the flight level 230.
I'm flight level 230, Air Canada 410.
Air Canada 410, I'll turn you
Oh,
on
that's
course
cool. There's like a
shortly on the
flock
flight
of
level
them.
230.
I'm flight level 230, Air Canada 410.
That's awesome. I've never seen that before.
Jazz 647, hello, you're identified.
I wouldn't imagine it would cause a fire immediately. I mean, you probably have a few, I don't know how long, maybe a minute or less, depending on how many went into your intake. Did you survive the landing?
Jazz 647, hello, you're identified. Turn right direct Omapa and climb 5,000.
5,000, right direct Omapa.
A bit unrealistic in that you survived the landing. Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, it could have, like, just been simulating catastrophic damage. Another, I didn't even realize that I did not have this on, but if you go to settings, in damage, remove flying surfaces when overspeed or over G limits, that was off for, I mean, until like a couple days ago. So if you overspeed your flaps, it'll simulate, I mean, if the plane models it, the flaps will actually come off, but otherwise the simulation pretends like you don't have, like if you break one of your flaps off, you're going to lose lift on that side. That is neat. So we turn that back on too. I'm going to leave that on for all of our airplanes. Doesn't look, according to our map, that we're going to encounter any birds. Actually, oh, they've moved down this area. I might try to fly one and find one. That looks pretty cool. I've never seen that before. This plane, the last time that I was just saying a minute ago, the last time that I did Failure Friday, afterwards I forgot to turn off the failures again. And I flew this airplane and had an engine failure. So I feathered the prop and was trying to deal with it, and then got under our VMC speed and started to roll, and both of the wings fell off because I overspeeded. Cool that that's modeled. Hopefully we're not going to find out today.
Air Canada 410, turn right direct dead key on course.
Right direct dead key on course, Air Canada 410.
We are almost halfway, 14 miles to our halfway point. Yeah, that's part of the reason I wanted to do this. We can't climb very high. I'm kind of at the maximum altitude for this weight, which is 10,000 feet. So if we lose an engine, there's not a lot of altitude to, you know, to sort of trade for airspeed.
Turn right direct dead key on course.
It would be a water landing for sure, because I don't think this plane could cruise with one engine. And it looks like the VMC speed is about 90, 85 knots.
Departure Encore 3570, hit Delta level off at 3000, heading 360.
Encore 3570, hello, you're identified, climb 5,000.
I'd be hitting the ELT switch and just doing a water landing. At this altitude and this airspeed, I'm guessing that probably single engine, you could do about 110 descending. You'd probably get about 30 miles.
Departure Encore 3570.
Maybe we'll find out.
3000 heading 360. Encore 3570, hello, we identified.
So let's see, after our halfway point, then it's 108 miles to... Oh, that's cumulative distance, isn't it? $117 left. Typically what happens though, I mean, I've had, you know, the landing gear failure the once, but usually what happens is it's something pretty innocuous that you don't actually realize, and so you get on the ground and then you look through the failure log to see what it is, like, I don't know, some system that you're not using.
7000 direct Tony, Encore 3570.
But the cool thing is doing this kind of stuff, it forces you to kind of do your scans to make sure that things are working, which is a good habit to get into in real life.
3570, climb 7000 direct Tony. 7000 direct Tony, Encore 3570.
No, I mean, the only reason I looked at it was before I turned the yaw damper off when I was turning to intercept our course, I looked down to make sure the ball was centered and it was indicating an opposite turn. So, you know, real big failure, guys. Fire test. Works. Let me see if there's like any documentation that came with this airplane. So maybe there's some emergency procedures. Embraer. Nope, wrong one. Documentation. Emergency procedures. Yes. Airspeed for safe operation with one engine inoperative, flaps and gear up, weight. I think 115, no, yeah, 115. Minimum control speed is 84 knots. Minimum control speed with propeller not feathered, 94 knots. This is actually a pretty good checklist for a simulator airplane. In-flight failure or fire. Here we go. R3, the Rube Cube. Thank you for the follow, my dude, and welcome. On which, this airplane? In-flight engine failure or fire. Maintain directional control. Autopilot disengage. Identify the affected engine. Shut it down. Landing gear up. Vent off. And I would guess feather that. That's true. So if the prop fails, or if the feather system fails, then we need to maintain 94 knots for VMC. Yeah, I can. What do you have a problem with? Good checklist. So, the basic rundown, let me double check to make sure everything's looking okay here. The basic function is that you have to have the autopilot switch on, and as soon as you engage it, it maintains the pitch attitude that you've got in the airplane, at least for pitch nose up and down. So once you get it turned on, autopilot on, and then you can select your heading, which you control with the heading bug down here. And or you can select navigation, and for the navigation to work, you got to make sure that your CDI on the GPS is in GPS mode. And then if you want to, you have to capture an altitude. So once you hit the altitude that you're looking for, click the altitude hold button, and you can control up and down by deselecting the altitude button, and then you can control pitch input with this little switch here. Oh baby, we're past the halfway point. No failures.
Is an Embraer restricted above.
Yeah, the altitude, there's no altitude capture. You can't like set an altitude so it'll capture it for you. You got to do it manually. The good thing is that usually once you get towards your cruise altitude, the plane's climbing so slowly that it's pretty easy to capture whatever altitude that you need.
410, contact center 124. Air Canada 410, contact center 124.902. 124.902, Air Canada 410.
Let's see what other emergency procedures we might need.
Pressure can 263 at a 2500 for 5.
Air Canada 263, departure identified. True noise, turn left, heading 330, climb 6,000.
After noise, it's going to be left 330.
Our one engine, inoperative landing and go around.
Thanks.
Flaps 25%. Propeller control max RPM. Hydraulic booster pump on.
Pressure can 263 at a
Check hydraulic
2500
pressure.
for 5.
Airspeed. Maintain approach speed for 25% flaps. Plus 10 knots. Indicated airspeed.
After noise, it's going to be left 330 up to 6 Air Canada 263.
Thanks.
Final approach. 100% if required and only when committed to land. Using the hat switch to look around. Yeah, I do the same thing. I've got, I'm gonna put this stuff away. On the joystick, the hat switch I use for looking around, so when I'm taxiing, I don't have to take my hand off the control. And then if I want to move around quick, I just use the mouse. And then you can, I don't know if you know this, if you're new to X-Plane, you can map buttons to your keypad. So once you get into a position that you want, you can hold control and then tap the key that you want. So I've got, here's position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. That's one of the, I think, the cooler things of X-Plane. If you don't have track IR, it's easy to set positions for your mouse or for your keypad so you can get around the cockpit without having to pause and move your sim around. No problem. Oh, then we got the DME now working for the VOR at Grand Cayman, 90 miles. So the VOR is on the west side of the airport, so this is measuring distance to the actual runway complex, 89.5, so it's about a mile west.
Encore 3570, contact center 12402. Encore 3570, contact center 12402.
2402, Encore 3570, yeah.
Alright, Air Canada 263, climb by level 230.
Climb level 230, Air Canada 263.
Alright, Air Canada 263, climb by level 230.
Climb level 230, Air Canada 263. Departure Envoy 3470, climbing 2000 for 5000.
Envoy 3470, departure, you're identified, climb 7000.
That's 7000, Envoy 3470.
For some reason, recently I've been having a hard time. The ATIS just won't play. So I'm on 132.350. Put it on COM 2. 35. Active and turn on COM 2. I don't know why. According to this, sky clear, visibility 10 plus, winds 010 at 6. And they have runway 8 and 26, so yeah, favoring runway 8. Grand Cayman approach 120.2, we should be able to pick up now.
That's 109, descend 3000.
I had no problem until the last... Oh, we got a problem here. Master, warning, what is going on? Nothing on the alert panel.
That's 109, descend 3000.
A master caution for something. All the engine systems are fine. Oh shit, boys.
625 and 5000. 75,000 dash 625.
Maybe it was flashing from when I tested this?
And 5000. 75,000 dash 625.
Oh, that's what it was. Scared me. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I mean, in the last couple weeks or so, it stopped picking up the in-game ATIS for me.
Jazz 625, turn right heading 020, vectors final.
I've got the radio's volume set. Yeah, that was my fault. I had a little panic moment there. I don't know how long... See, I'd be screwed if there's actual real emergency, because who knows how long that thing was flashing before I noticed it. Whoops.
Jazz 625.
74 miles. I'm going to stay up here until we get quite a bit closer, because got a little bit of an altitude buffer. We'll start descending when we're about 30 miles.
Jazz 625, turn left heading 350.
So from this direction, so runway 07, so it's kind of at a 45-degree angle. I would probably expect Since it's towered, you could do a right pattern, so I'd expect a midfield right downwind. And at sea level, so that would put us in a turboprop about 1,500 feet for traffic pattern.
Jazz 625, turn left heading 350. Jazz 625, turn left heading 290, not below 2,000 feet, till established on final, cleared ILS, runway 26 right approach.
Should be able to see it soon. We're about 68 miles.
Jazz 625, turn left heading 290, not below 2,000 feet, till established on final, cleared ILS, runway 26 right approach. Air Canada 239, turn right heading 235, descend 3,000, clear for the ILS, runway 26 right approach. Air Canada 239, turn right heading 235, descend 3,000, clear for the ILS, runway 26 right approach. Jazz 204, descend unrestricted to 5,000. Jazz 204, descend unrestricted to 5,000. Jazz 625, cross totem at speed 160 knots or less, contact tower now, 119.55.
Total 160 over the tower now, Jazz 625, yeah.
Jazz 625, cross totem at speed 160 knots or less, contact tower now, 119.55.
Total 160 over the tower now, Jazz 625, yeah.
1985, descend 5,000.
5,000 is 1985.
"55 miles, I can just start to see the beginning of the island there. We getting there, boys.
Cruise 1985, descend 5,000.
5,000 is 1985.
Jazz 204, descend 4,000 unrestricted.
4,000.
Jazz 204, descend 4,000 unrestricted.
4,000.
Cruise 1985, turn right heading 020, descend 3,000.
There we go.
Cruise 1985, turn right heading 020, descend 3,000. Jazz 619, turn left heading 170, vector final. Jazz
Set the heading bug for the runway heading, and once we get a little bit closer, I'll take off the autopilot and we'll hand fly it. I'll switch the CDI to VLOC, so it's gonna... Actually, I have to turn that off. I can switch the CDI on the HSI for runway heading, so I have a visual reference to help fly the pattern. 42 miles. I think we're gonna make it, fam. Assuming the landing gear comes out and stuff.
Pasco 703, descend 4,000.
4000, Pasco 703.
It might be an aircraft carrier. If worst comes to worst, we can land out there. Do a short field landing. Go ahead and set our auto feather.
Pasco 703.
Pasco 703, affirmative.
Okay, 4000, 703.
Leave the hydraulic booster on.
Is that under center for Pasco 703?
Pasco 703, affirmative.
Okay, 4000, 703.
Actually, another good idea. Flight plan. Oh, no. Procedures. We're going to do RNAV 08 this way. We will have the holding point loaded in there. Should have the holding point. So we do mixed approach. Yeah, it's right there. Mobix. I can send it to the hold fix.
Yeah, 204.
We can try to sort stuff out.
Contact return now 119.55.
1955, Mexico, 160.
Don't have any approach charts, so I'm not sure what the missed approach altitude is.
Yeah, 204.
See if I can find any.
Contact return now 119.55.
MWCR approach plates. Don't know.
You're not heading 290, not below 2,000 feet, till established on final. Cleared ILS, runway 26, right approach.
Heading 290, not below 2,000 till established, clear down at 26, right approach, 1985.
Oh yeah, buddy, 30 miles. The airport, I think it's somewhere over here. Yeah, there's the runway.
You're not heading 290, not below 2,000 feet, till established on final. Cleared ILS, runway 26, right approach.
Heading 290, not below 2,000 till established, clear down at 26, right approach, 1985.
Pasco 703 to 10, 3,000.
3000,
Pasco 703 to 10, 3,000.
29 miles. We'll start a slow descent down here. Disengage the altitude. Go ahead and get our nose coming down.
Pasco 703, turn right heading 170.
Right, 170.
Pasco 703, turn right heading 170.
Right, 170.
See, I still didn't get the ATIS. We are within 25 miles, 100%. That should be playing. COM 2 is on. Double check the frequency's right. I don't know what's going on with that. ATIS 13235. 13235 is in the active. Don't know, man. Let's see if it plays the VOR identifier. Oh yeah, it does. Cool. Alright, prop sync. Turn that off. Get our aux fuel pumps on. No, it's been in every aircraft. Let me try. I'm gonna switch over to tower. I'm gonna put 132.535.
For departure, West Chapter.
Even in COM 1 it doesn't work.
American 2852, hold short, runway 248.
And start inching our prop forward.
Maple 7678, caution wake turbulence, wind 320, 15, gust 20, clip takeoff, runway 248. Perfect, takeoff, runway 248.
And once I get configured for landing, I'll go. So the blades kind of flatten out. So it's taking a smaller bite out of the air, but it also increases the surface area of the blade, so it actually slow you down if you find your props. What else? I need. This is why I need checklist. I don't know what I'm missing.
387, star, wind 310 at 12, gust 19.
Hydraulic booster pump we got on.
23, yellow ship 310.
Auto feathers armed. Aux fuel pumps are on. Lights are on. Passenger seat belts are good. Inertial separators are back on. See the airport and runway.
7328 is with you on the visual 24 left.
7328, hello, wind 310.
21.9er for ground.
Canada 694, target line up and wait, runway 248.
Line up, operator, Canada 694.
So at this point, we're 14 miles away. Approach would have already passed us off to the tower. Probably would have made contact with them, told them we're visual for runway 8. So I'm going to disengage the autopilot, turn that off, leave the yaw damper on. Oh, she's rolling. And we're going to aim for midfield, right downwind, runway 8. Kisa, what am I? Mangalao.
American 2852, right on Delta, contact ground 120.
Let's go CDI VLOC. Switch this frequency, and that is lined up already with our there we go.
Canada 694, wind 310, 15, gusting 20, clip takeoff, runway 248.
So take off, operator, Canada 694. 1705 tower, wind 310, 11, gust 19, continue number 1, traffic to depart. Number 1, reception, 05.
The gear extended was 146, I think, so it's basically right in the flap arc too. You can go full flaps there. We're going to Grand Cayman. We're almost there. The runway is about 10 miles off the nose. Looking good, Grand Cayman. Just going there in real life.
Charlie, wind 310 to 11, gust 19. Clear for takeoff, runway 23. Clear for takeoff, runway 23, active 38 Charlie.
Charlie, line up and wait, runway 24 right.
Line up and wait, 24 right, through 1670.
Get down here. I need to be about 1,500 feet. So there's the end of the runway. It kind of dead ends into the water.
Clear 1705, wind 310 at 12, gust 19, clear to land, runway 23.
Clear land 23, reception Gemini.
Yeah, it's a little weird, right? It just dropped the zeros there for you. At least they're in knots and not miles an hour or kilometers an hour. There's that with a new airplane, the Zlin 142. The airspeed's in kilometers an hour.
Charlie, contact departure,
Man, I'm American.
Contact departure 1288, web I have
Knots?
today.
Fine. Kilometers an hour? Come on, bud. Alright, we are coming up on our altitude.
Tower, good evening, Jordan 7386, clear approach 24.
Jordan 7386, Tower, wind 320 to 15, gusting 20, clear to land, runway 24 left.
Clear land 24 left, Jordan 73.
Oh yeah, it starts at 40 knots. Let's go. I'm going to do a wide pattern here because we're a little bit faster than a normal airplane. Looking for 156 and about 1,500 on the altitude. I'm going to pause it because I got to coordinate in here.
Clear 1678, contact departure 128.
Board departure, route 1678, good night.
There we go. Alright, we're in our gear speed. We're at 1,500, shot through it.
That's 26, Tower, line up, runway 24 right.
Line 24 right, jazz 26.
Beam the runway, so I'll go gear down, hopefully.
Canada
Down, 3 green, and no reds.
Line up runway 23. Line up 23 or
And flaps.
Jordan 7319, Tower, line up, runway 24 right.
Line up 248, Jordan 7319.
I'm going to start descending, turn in here.
Air Canada 273, wind 320 at 12, gust 18.
So now the turn
Wind
coordinator is
3
just,
runway 23.
the ball works, the slip skid ball works, but now it's not indicating any sort of turn at all. Which again, it's no big deal, I don't really need it. We're not in VMC or anything, or IMC. Alright, here's base, roll it out here. Set flaps. That'll be our landing flaps. Appear to be working. Symmetrical deployment.
Air Canada 595, contact departure 1288. Good day.
Jazz 26, contact departure 128.
28, jazz 26, night.
turn around on the runway here. Yeah, man, you're just in time for the landing. Go down to the, that's like the terminal for jets and stuff. I think there's like a smaller FBO or something down here. Somewhere around here.
Transit 453 Heavy Tower, line up runway 25.
Okay, line up at 24 right, Air Transit 450.
So I think I'm using, I think it's called Reality XP or something. It adds head movement and stuff like that. I had head shake for a while, but I was getting some weird sort of camera drift thing.
1288 or Canada 273.
And Reality XP, or what, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a $20 plug-in that someone bought for me that it adds head movement and, you know, ground shake, rattle, all that kind of stuff.
Flight at 549, star, 1310, destination 18, continue number 1, traffic to depart.
549.
Landing lights off, strobes off.
24 right, Transit 450.
Runway 35, 31.
Yeah, there you go. It's Reality XP. I like that stuff. It's got my seal of approval.
Alright, we'll stop at 3000, 24 right, line up fully and onboard.
Transponders, standby. Turn off our DME. That can go off. We're gonna pull straight in here. Priority parking. I think if even if someone didn't buy it for me, I probably would have spent the money on it. It's not too bad.
7319, cut a departure on 128.
288, good night, sub 390.
Turn 7319, cut a departure on 128.
288, good night, sub 390.
D343, wind 310 at 9
Parking brake, go ahead and feather these boys. Avionics off. Disarm the emergency lights. Auto feathers off. Hydraulic booster, turn that off.
549, IJN departure, roll 1310 at 9 destination 18, clear to land runway 23.
Clear land 23, west at 549.
And we can shut them down. I did not watch Lost. Inertial separators, inverters off, gens off. We made it before we watched the replay. Let's see what we know that we had a failure for the turn coordinator. Let's see what else, if anything else happened. Oh, there's microbursts? That's pretty cool. Alright, electrical bus 1 and 2 failed, and the battery failed, which I guess happened late because we would have lost electrical power if the battery actually ran out. Not sure how that works. Didn't seem to affect anything. Instruments, here we go. Ooh. I didn't notice any of this stuff. N1, N2, N2, torque, fuel flow, and fuel pressure instruments all failed. Homeland, I think I watched the first season. HRS, I don't even think this plane has an HRS. Attitude heading reference system. Oh, maybe it does. That's the AHRS was probably related to the turn coordinator. We don't have suction. We had an AHRS system. That's what that was. That's why we lost the turn coordinator. Artificial horizon also failed. Pilot turn coordinator, co-pilot, artificial horizon. That's why they look so low, even though the attitude wasn't. We had a lot of failures. Nothing crazy though. All right, let's watch replay. Landing felt pretty okay.
Transat 453, coming departure 1289.
Welcome, Transit 453.
And that rolled out right on the glide slope. Who's your daddy? Oh, now we're below it. Oh, there's the VOR. That's cool. One more, gotta have the wing view.
Wait 3531, caution the wake turbines, turn left, turn is able, heading 180, wing 320 to 15, gusting 20, clear for takeoff, runway 24.
Caution, wake turbulence, clear for takeoff 24 right, heading 180 up 3000, for 3531.
And we had a lot of instruments fail on that one. I think I would have had a problem if the pitot-static stuff had gone and maybe I'd lost the airspeed because it gets really squishy at low speed. I was mostly looking out the window because we were VFR basically at that point. But had some failures, nothing catastrophic. Maybe next time. Alright, boys, I'm going to get out of here. Flight East, thanks for stopping by, man. It's good hanging out. Gisa, it's always a pleasure. Dam shigane bayao. Don't get coronavirus. We'll see you next time. Let it go to engine shutdown, but probably not going to be back tomorrow. The weather looks like it's actually going to be good tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be flying in real life and not going to be stuck in here on a computer again. Peace, boys. Love ya. Mean it. See ya.